The following training is sponsored by the Neoga Library System. We serve our member libraries in Niagara, Orleans, and Genesee counties. You can always visit our main web page listed here at neoga.org, or certainly visit your local library homepage and use your library card to get access to streaming videos, downloadable music, audiobooks, ebooks, and even more from the comfort of your own home. Thank you.
Hello. So today, in today's video, we're going to talk about the New York State Talking Book and Braille Library, that's the TBBL, and the Braille and Audio Reading Library, or Braille and Audio Reading from the Library of Congress, which is the federal level. And talking books are the kind of older term for audiobooks now, and there's a couple of really interesting things going on. So let's go ahead and get into this. I hope I'll be able to flip back and forth. Usually I try and keep the screen steady here with what you see, but I want to try and go to the live website as well. So we'll see how this works. But let's start with the New York State TBBL. And of course, as always, I have the links here on the screen. They'll be in the description. So I always encourage you to go ahead and check out the real thing, so to speak. So the New York State TBBL is actually temporarily closed right now. And the notification on the website says, please check back for updates regarding this closure. If you have any questions for our library staff, this is from the New York State Library, please email, and that's there. tbbl@nysed.gov. And as a reminder, you may download books and magazines through the downloading service BARD, which is the national level, which I'm going to talk about, the Braille and audio reading download. And if you need help using BARD, please email, again, the State Library staff. The phone numbers are there. You can call local numbers, area code 518-474-5935, or toll free 1-800-342-3688. The New York State Talking Book and Braille Library is a free library service for eligible residents of upstate New York. Now, I'm going to talk about this because there's one for New York City and then there's one for upstate. So where we are, we would be upstate New York, who are unable to use standard print materials due to visual or physical disability. Materials are mailed to and from the library patrons at their homes at no charge, and currently over 15,000 New Yorkers of all ages are registered for TBBL services. The collection includes fiction and nonfiction, audio, and Braille books, with over 70 magazine subscriptions as well. The library loans playback machines, so I'm going to show you some of those. I found a video. The video is like almost 40 minutes long, so I'll show you where to go with that. And again, of course, include that in the description. But the players are rather interesting because they're old style players, and they're made with specific shapes on them. So we'll see that. There's also, for those who are more amenable to using apps, there's a BARD app, which we're going to show too. Okay, so the books can be downloaded directly to a tablet or smartphone with the app, which is really nice. So when you click the link for BARD from the New York State Library website, this is the main page here is what I have. This is the screenshot, okay? And it talks about 3 steps to using BARD. You become an NLS patron, you register for BARD, and then you get a device. So when you click on the Become an NLS Patron link, you go to this website and you have to fill out what they call an information request. And let me see if I have this up. Okay, and actually, this is the live website here that we're seeing on the screen. So if I go to right down here where it says Become an NLS Patron and I click it, it gives me a new tab. And here you can see, I'm actually gesturing with my hands as if you can see my hands and you can't. So let me gesture with my mouse here. Here you can see the actual live form, and it's also available in Spanish. And if I scroll down here, first name, last name, your street address, zip code, you fill it all out. And it does say, how did you learn about the service? And you can choose up to 3 different choices. And you also fill out if you're interested in receiving NLS services for yourself or if you're inquiring for someone else. Okay, so that's all good. You would fill that all out and submit it. Okay, so that would be your information request. Once you fill that out, you're going to want to, now what I did was I closed the tab at the top. When I closed the tab on the internet, it brought me back to the National Library Service, the BARD website here. And it allows me then to register for that. So let me go back again to my script. Here's the information request, just in case my internet wasn't working. And here we go. Then we go to the actual individual application. So you fill out the form first, and let me flip back to the internet. So we just did this one here, become an NLS patron. And once you do that, you're going to go right in here to register for BARD. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click that link. And let me see. Let me pause this for a minute. I'm going to actually move my recording screen.
Okay, so I think I should have moved it over. I'll check that. And so in the individual application, and again, this becomes important, when you go to click to select a library, they, of course, go by state in alphabetical order. So I'm going to go to the N's for New York. And do watch here where my mouse is, because they do have the Andrew High School Braille and Talking Book Library. That is in New York City. It's New York, New York. What we want to pick for upstate New York, anywhere outside of the city, is the New York State Talking Book and Braille Library in Albany. So when we pick that, we can then submit. That's our library affiliation. That gives us the right to actually put in an application for the BARD collection. And again, we would go ahead and fill out what we see here on the screen. And this was interesting as well. Looking down here, it says, please select the type of player you will be using. And the player that is automatically up is the NLS Digital Talking Book Player or / BARD mobile app. You can also, with the drop-down menu, pick a bunch of other different ones. But once you submit that, let me again go back to my screen here. And I don't know if I can, oh, there we go. Okay, so I just moved my film screen over a bit here. After we fill that out and you pick the player that you're going to use or the app, what I did was I went and I found a YouTube video. Like I mentioned, it was kind of long. It was almost 40 minutes long, but it had really good explanations on how to use the player. And this is actually it. And one of the things that I was talking about is that it has different style buttons. Each button has something different on it physically to make it feel different from the other. And it has Braille markings along on the black part of the player. So it's very high contrast. It has a whole black background with bright white, yellow, red, green on it. So it's a little easier to see. So the player itself has been very smartly designed to make it a lot easier to use. And the gentleman in the video does a great big thing, great explanation on how to use it, what each of the buttons do, how you can find your book, how you can go to your bookshelf. Okay, so again, I'm going to link that all in here. What I thought was important was, and I thought was cool, is here is an actual picture of the book cartridge itself, and it has a label on it. And as he points out, this is vital. There's only one way to insert it. You literally, if you're trying to shove it in there, you cannot shove it in there wrong because you can't get it in there otherwise. It only goes in one way, and that's with the label on the top. And I hope you can see this. I'll try and zoom in so you can see the actual physical label, and then there's Braille on it as well. And
So he shows the cartridge, and then, like I said down here, the cartridge only fits one way. And I really like this particular picture because you can actually see that the cartridge is around the actual USB. So there is a plain USB drive in that cartridge, and that's what holds the books themselves. One cartridge can hold more than one book. He goes into really good detail on how to find each book or each chapter and how to kind of manipulate the player so it works for you. Okay. And once you put the cartridge in, like here, you go ahead and put the cartridge in until it stops. And when you put the cartridge in, it will start playing. And he talks about how to get it to stop playing, how to get to your bookshelf, all of that. And again, the YouTube video is right there. Do fast forward. You can fast forward to the 20-minute mark in the video. So then he really starts talking about the actual use of the player itself. Prior to that, he talks about each of the individual buttons. So if people have low vision or they have vision problems, they can listen to the detailed instructions he gives about each of the buttons in the video. So that's very good. On a last note here, BARD also has their application. I mentioned that for Apple, Android, and Kindle. And what I did here on the screen is I just did a simple actually a Bing search for BARD mobile app, and it came right up for the App Store for Apple, the Play Store for Google, and the Amazon.com BARD mobile. There's actually 1, 2, 3. You can see each of those are the top 3 results. And again, very nicely, they do have, again, the picture. We don't want people to get scammed. You want to look at the actual logos, okay? Again, I will zoom in on that as we go here. You want to look at the logos. You want to make sure that people are getting the real deal. You don't pay for these things. It's all free. Everything you get is from the Library of Congress or from the Talking Book and Braille Library in New York State. And there's nothing to pay for. You don't pay for the app, and you don't pay for the books either. Once you register and you get your library card number, you use your BARD library card just like you would a regular library card from NYOGA, from the New York State, or the New York Public Library, or any of your local libraries. So I hope this was a nice introduction. I tried to keep it a bit short. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.